if the Lakers want to seriously contend for a championship, not be like a first, second round exit, but they want to seriously contend for a championship, this has to be the summer. This has to be the summer. Luka Doncic is hearing all of the noise. You got traded. You're hearing everything that's going on TV and the media. This is the season to get in shape. This is the season where you go into, game end. Your game ends today. Take a couple months off, whatever you got to do. But this has to be the summer that you're going into the offseason saying, I am going to be as good a shape as I've ever been in my life. Because you look at this series, you look at the NBA Finals, go look at all of his fourth quarters from this series and the NBA Finals, his last, 10 playoff games. I believe he has one game where he scored more than 7 points in the fourth quarter. And that was game 5 of the finals last year when they were down 15 points in the fourth quarter. Luka Doncic, for 2 big series in a row, dating back to last year, has not been able to show up in the fourth quarter because he physically cannot do it. This isn't like he can't play defense. He's a cone, because I'm not expecting Luka Doncic to play all NBA level defense. This is about him being in physical shape with these other guys, because we see what he can do while probably being in the worst shape as anyone out there on the court. He could still go out there and give you 39 and 8 a night. But if he's able to go out there and be in average shape, not terrible shape, but just be in average shape, this guy can win multiple championships. He could win multiple MVPs. And he's so damn good that maybe he could just be below average and still be able to get away with it. But if he could go into this offseason and say, I'm putting my head down. I have LeBron here who takes care of his body as anyone else. I have JJ Redick, who is, as locked in as a head coach. I know we just talked about him a lot, but he's obviously very intense, and he's the guy that played in the NBA for a decade plus. He knows what it takes to keep your body in shape. Luka Doncic has to go into this offseason. Number one priority is, I need to be able to play deep into the fourth quarters, deep into the playoffs, and not be huffing and puffing, so I could be there for my team on both sides of the ball.
That's a fair and valid point. I think you're making some good points. I just don't like the insinuation that Luka is out of shape when he played 42 minutes per game in this series and he averaged 37 and 6. That's what he did last year. He played through multiple injuries and led the playoffs in 9 categories and made the finals. The year before that, the Mavericks make a midseason trade for Kyrie. They have injuries. They don't make the playoffs. The year before that, he made the conference finals with DFS, Reggie Bullock, and Dwight Powell starting at center.
Well, you have 2 eyes. You could tell this guy, rank the 10 guys who's in the best shape on this court today. Where does Luka rank?
In the best shape?
In conditioning, yes. Where does he rank?
How do you even rank? Do you think DFS is in better shape than Luka?
Well, it's obviously different because DFS is playing off the ball. He's not being asked to initiate.
And that's what I think you have to. Better shape. No, he's not. Maybe he looks like he's in better shape, but anybody who can drop 31 in 42 minutes played versus a player who's playing 34 minutes. Yes,
well, he falls
in better basketball shape.
Every fourth quarter he
also has so did LeBron. LeBron didn't play well in the fourth. So did Austin Reeves. Everybody didn't play well in the fourth.
Some dudes are missing shots. Some dudes can't get shots up.
Where was to end the OKC series last year to the pathway to the finals? The last 3 games of the series, Luka was amazing. There was no fourth quarter talk there. In the conference finals of the Timberwolves series, there was no fourth quarter talk there. In the Clippers series, when he had the back-to-back closeout games where he was amazing, there was no fourth quarter talk there. I mean, we're nitpicking him because in the finals, his teammates shot 17% from 3. Okay, in the finals, when his teammates shot 17% from 3, because they lost, we're going to point at Luka and say it's his fault, it's the defense, it's that, it's that. They don't have anybody on the roster that can stay in front of anybody. DFS is their best perimeter defender, and he was getting blown by routinely. And I'm not saying Luka's a good defender. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just pushing back on the notion that he's in bad shape. Could he be in better shape? I'm not going to argue.
He's in good shape.
I'm not going to argue that he can't. He could be in better shape. He could be in better shape.
He's getting blown by.
He's not in bad shape. If you're playing 42 minutes in the playoffs and you're averaging 31 on good efficiency, you're not in bad shape. There's just no way you could. There's no way you can argue me he's in bad shape.
Not compared to me and you, because we're not playing 42 damn minutes a night in the NBA.
Okay.
Compared to his peers, compared to Julius Randle, compared to Anthony Edwards, compared to LeBron James in this series, he's by far and away not even the same.
Anthony Edwards went 5 for 19 tonight. Was he in bad shape tonight?
Okay, what about every other damn game in the series?
Okay,
When he was the
what
one
about
closing them
Kawhi
out?
Leonard outside of game 2? He hasn't showed up in any fourth quarter for the Clippers against the Nuggets. Is he in bad shape?
You're
So
nitpick.
any so no no
You're
no no.
being
So
you're too
any player that doesn't play well in the fourth quarter is
no
in bad shape.
no because you're too focused. You're a process over results guy. Just because you have a great fourth quarter or a terrible fourth quarter doesn't necessarily mean if you're in shape or not. We watched this damn series. Luka Doncic was huffing and puffing and out of shape in every fourth quarter.
Dels, and he got hurt. His back got hurt in
This
this
game, yes,
game, and he
I'm not.
proceeded to play well after that.
He had, yes, no, he did, and he was exceptional in the third quarter. And I'm not even dragging on him for this game because his back was hurt. I'm not. I didn't say nothing about this game. Nothing. I put up those stats after
I'm
game
just
4.
saying.
He's been atrocious this series. He's
I'm
been god awful.
so I'm just saying because people seem to think this is a thing with Luka. So when they made the finals last year, he was in bad shape.
He was in bad shape. He still did it.
He was in bad
I'm not
shape
gonna
for the
say it, but he
entirety
was
of the
in bad shape,
finals.
yes.
For the entirety of the finals run, he was in bad shape.
I mean,
Against OKC, he was in bad
exposed
shape.
in the finals. I don't think
Against Minnesota, he was in bad shape.
Yes.
I just can't agree with that. I just don't think an athlete that's playing 42 minutes of highly intense
Joel,
basketball,
again,
who's playing elite, is in bad shape. I can't get behind that. I
Joel,
can't.
this is not.
Could he be in better shape? Yes.
This is not comparing Luka to the average Joe. This is comparing Luka to the top 10 players in basketball.
And he's one of the best players in basketball, Dels.
Okay, compare him to the top 3. Nikola Jokic is in maybe the best shape of any player in the NBA.
Because Luka isn't in as good of shape as Giannis, he's in bad shape.
No, but if we're comparing him to everybody else, let alone not even top 10, who's making all NBA teams, then top 30, he's not in good shape. Like, I don't know how you could sit here and be like, oh no, he's fine. Like he's not. This is I don't know. I don't think this is a hot take. I feel like Lakers fans included are going to tell you he's not in good shape. And again, he is still out there playing his fucking ass off. This isn't some like Luka's dog shit. He's the 15th best player in the league. No, this is like real criticism of Luka Doncic.
And that is the disconnect. I just don't think you can play 42 minutes of highly intense basketball every game. In game 3, have food poisoning and play through that and average 30 for the series and be in bad shape. Like I said, could he be in better shape? Is there a different level Luka can get to?
Yes.
I do think there is. But just because there's a different level he can get to doesn't mean he's in bad shape.
How did I start this whole back and forth? I said, if the Lakers want to seriously contend for a championship, Luka has to get in better shape.
Why is it on Luka when
it's
on the roster?
He's the best player.
The difference between the Lakers and the Timberwolves winning this series wasn't because of Luka. It was because of the Lakers personnel. They got out rebounded by 16 rebounds tonight.
Yes. It's not just solely on Luka Doncic. I personally just do not believe.
Okay, so you're telling me
a championship, and this is the condition he's going to be in.
So you're telling me Luka gets in better shape next year. This same roster, they're competing for anything serious?
No, like they obviously have to make changes. Like
That's
they
what
obviously
I'm saying.
have to get better.
I'm saying that I think the major thing is the roster. I think Luka, even with how he looks right now, with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, could have went to the conference finals if they had him on his team. I think that's the difference. I think it's the roster.
Yes, but I personally, I think there's multiple levels, right? Like winning a playoff series, going to the WCF, making the finals, winning the finals. There's all different steps of difficulty. I think Luka Doncic with a better roster could still get you to the WCF or maybe damn near the NBA finals. That's how good he is. But what we saw last year and what we saw specifically in the finals, let me reiterate, specifically in the finals last year when the ball, because I thought last year in the Timberwolves, against Timberwolves, the Wolves bailed him out a lot. Like I feel like they just weren't attacking him as much as Boston was, especially down the stretch in those games, fouling him out like in game 3, everything like that. But when teams have gotten intentional about going after him, like we saw in the finals and like we saw in this series, I think that's when it really shows. And again, it's not just like this is the only thing that has to happen. The Lakers are going to win the finals next year, but this is part of it.
There are certain players that they have limitations. That is what it's going to be. Luka can be in better shape.
Yeah.
Yes. the bad defensive personnel around him also exacerbates the problem. Dirk Nowitzki won a championship and he wasn't a good defender. In
Yeah,
2011, they won because they had Kidd, Sean Marion, Deshaun Stevenson, Tyson Chandler, great defenders around him.
awesome. Yeah,
The
awesome.
two times that Luka has gotten deep into the playoffs, they had top 10 defenses around him and they had really great defensive personnel last year. And you look at the Mavericks and Celtics final series, the Celtics had their lowest offensive rating output in the finals of any of the series that they played. The
The Mavs are great
Mavericks,
defense.
the Mavericks held up defensively. It was their offense that didn't show up. We can look at the plays, and I know there's a lot of plays where Lucas gets blown by. I'm not defending his defense, but there are some players in NBA history that are all-time greats that are one-sided players that they are
Mhm.
way better on offense than on defense. And for those players, you have to build around them differently.
Yeah,
It's
no,
it's like
for sure.
Jokic. Jokic is not a great individual defender, although he could have moments of brilliance. He has to have a certain team built around him. And the
Mhm.
Nuggets in 2023, they had that team built around him. And that's why they were able to win the championship. Luka, I think, falls in the same ballpark. Like when he loses, just like Jokic in 2021, when he lost to the Suns and Chris Paul averaged 24 and 10 against them, the defense for Jokic is too bad to ever win a championship. But then you get help around him, and then he's able to win. For me, I think Luka falls in the same boat that he could get in this tip top shape. It's not going to change that much how much of a good defender he is.
Yeah, well, I don't think Luka's ever gonna be a great defender. I don't think he has to be a great defender. But I just think it's can we get in better shape? Like, can we just, be able to run? Look at the way Jokic runs up and down the court at 300 pounds. Luka can't do that. He doesn't do that.
Can we like this? What happened to Luka this year is the first time that something this drastic has ever happened in NBA history where a player got traded mid-season, a blindside trade to a team that didn't have the personnel to realistically compete. The Mavericks have a far better roster, and that roster was built around Luka. Luka got traded into a situation, into a roster that was not prepared for his arrival, that they didn't have
You were
players
just
to
getting
build
on and
around
saying
him.
how the Lakers were favored, how you had them as the top 3 team in the West, and now all of a sudden they're not good enough?
Because of the star power, because of LeBron and because of Luka
Ah,
Doncic.
you're losing
Their
me.
role players, Gabe Vincent, he's not good. Jackson Hayes, he didn't play.
Luka
They're,
Doncic averaging 4 points in the 4th
they're
quarter.
relying
LeBron
on
too, but
okay, but
he's not doing shit.
I'm saying no trade in NBA history, no big trade midseason NBA history has ever resulted in a championship. It's literally never happened. It's
I
never
know.
happened in history. So I'm saying, can we at least wait until the roster rounds out after what you've seen? Because you had the Lakers winning this series and you had them winning this series comfortably to where you said you could rather see Lakers in 5 than Minnesota winning this series at
I
all.
did.
So after you watched the series, because you were probably high on the Lakers too, given that you thought they were good.
Yeah,
After you watch this series, do you not come away with the same takeaway that this roster is flawed?
no, absolutely. But that was what I was just saying 20 minutes ago, and you're like, "Well, the Lakers were favored, and everyone expected them to win." We're flipping here.
No, I'm saying that I'm not giving them any grace because you said, what if they matched up with the Rockets and ended up winning? I wasn't giving them any grace. I'm not giving them any grace for losing. They lost this series, and I think it exposed their team. With that being said, I'm not looking at this series and saying, Luca, it's on you, buddy. I'm not. I'm
No,
looking at
no,
the
no, no,
centers.
no. Again, like I said when I started all of this, the Lakers need to make, personnel changes, obviously. But to get to the final end goal to win an NBA championship, part of getting better is going to be Luka Doncic getting in better shape. I personally believe, maybe I'll be right, maybe I'll be wrong. We could come back to this in 10 years or when Luka wins a championship. I believe if Luka continues to go down the path he is going currently, I do not think he's going to be able to win a championship. That's me. I do not think his game is going to age. I think the injuries will just continue to pile up. And I feel like you need to be available for your team number one. You need to be available in the fourth quarter. That's just all I'm saying.
What about Luca's game can't age though?
Because he's getting injured now more often than he has earlier in his career. His athleticism is going year after year.
He doesn't rely on
Um,
his athleticism.
he doesn't, but I feel like every year his burst is just a little bit less and less and less. Like eventually it's gonna wear out. Like, what does Luka look like at 33 years old?